Hello and welcome to this playtest of Writers Room, which is a hack of Microscope that I want to try out. Doing this as part of the Open Hearth gaming community. And I'm here with Mark and Rod. I'm Anders, he, him. I live in Sweden. I play games. Mark.
Yeah, I'm Mark, he, them. I also play games. I'm in Michigan in the U.S.
Cool, thank you. Rod.
Hey, I'm Rod, he, him, and from New York. And is my audio okay? I know my video is kind of
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
okay. Perfect, cool.
Yeah, cool. So this is a hack of Microscope. Normally, Microscope is, for those who don't know, Microscope is a game where you create a fictional history by adding eras, and in the eras you have events, and then you can play out scenes under those events. I have adapted this a little bit to create a TV show. So what we're going to do here is we're going to create like the big overview of the show. We're going to create the overview of the first season of the show, and then we're going to specify some things about the episodes. So here, the episodes are the equivalent of the eras. We will have scenes in the episodes, and in the scenes we will add details. And I'm going to more detail about what all of that means. Normally in Microscope, you have a very specific way that you take your turns and you specify themes and all of that. We're not going to do that. We're just going to go around and take turns. Personally, I find I like Microscope a lot, but I feel like it has a lot of all of it doesn't work.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if you can still see me. Yeah. There was something here. Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to take turns to add things. Once we at first thing we'll do is collaborate. Just talk out how the overview for the series and the overview for the season. Just to make sure we're on the same page about what we want to do. The big the header or whatever I've set here beforehand is that we're doing a live action X-Men show, and we'll talk a bit about what we want to do with that. But that's those are the only like fixed parameters for this playtest. Oh well, there's one more. I've decided that we're doing a maximum of 5 episodes. Just to have some strict restrictions on how long the season will be, to concentrate the things we do with it. So when we do the setup, we'll specify some details about the show overall, title, tone, themes, like recurring themes. Is it about found family? Is it about independence? Is it about that sort of thing? Types of conflict that we'll have that the show is interested in. Is this like internal struggles? Are we fighting bad mutants? That sort of thing. And we'll have there's room to have multiple types there, of course. We'll have a theme song, and we'll decide on how we want to do casting. Do we want to cast like real actors? Do we want unknowns and just find interesting faces, or how we want to do that? So that's the show. And then for the season, we can set a title for the season if we want. Write a synopsis, just like a 1-sentence overview of what this whole season is about. And that can be just like we'll just have episodic adventures, or it can be like there's a big arc that we're exploring. We can also set themes for the season that can be like variations on the core themes of the show. We can make notes on plot arcs that we want to explore, and some of these things will be we can set from the beginning, and some will set during play. So not all of this will be fixed. The season can also have some core conflicts, like if we were doing the first season of Buffy, then Buffy versus the Master would be like one of the core conflicts there. And recurring motifs, this is something that will show up as we play. Theme is, as I described, that's something, something meaning, a theme that we're exploring. A motif is recurring visuals or lines of dialogue or that sort of thing that create their own meaning as we find connotations for them. So if we have a recurring image in some way, then that will create meaning in itself. We can make a little note of it that someone came up with a cool visual or used a song in a particular way in one of the scenes. So and someone else says, I want to keep using that. You can note it as a recurring motif, or you can just realize that we've used this kind of visual multiple times. Let's make a note of it, and we can continue to refer back to that. So the thing we'll do at the beginning is define the series. The thing about the season that will come up in play. So during play, we will do, when it's your turn, you do one of three things. You can develop the season, and that means you add a couple of things to the season, like a plot arc for the season, a central theme, an important conflict, recurring motif, that sort of thing. Anything that's on the season overview. You can develop an episode, and then you define a few things about the episode. You can set a title for the episode. You can write the synopsis for the episode. You can note some themes and that sort of thing. You can write a summary for one of the scenes, a synopsis for the scene. You don't have to do all of those things. You can just say, I just want to do these two things. I want to set the title, and I have an idea out of that. Or you can develop a scene. So you pick one of the scenes in an episode, and you add some details. And details here are a sequence, like here's a fight sequence, or here we have a dialogue scene, or something like that. You can add a specific shot, like, there's an image of this character walking up the stairs or jumping out the window, or we have them turning away from whatever is happening. Like if you get a strong idea for a visual, you can note that. You can note lines of dialogue, like, this character says this, and this character answers this back, if you have some idea there. Or you can do a needle drop, which is when you put in a song, like very clearly in the episode. And again, you can pick some of those. You can do like, I want this sequence and this sequence and this sequence, but not define any of the other things. Or you can, whatever you like. Just don't take write out the whole scene or the whole episode, that sort of thing. It's just you add a couple of things that come immediately to mind, and then we'll just go around until we feel like we're done or time is up, whichever happens first. So now I've been talking for a bit. I figure we should do. I've added a safety tab. I just stole very quickly lines and veils there, so you can check that out. You should have editor privileges now, but please check to see if you can change things.
View on the.
No. Yeah. Okay, then I will share the link again. Let's see.
There we go. Got it.
Does it work now?
Yep.
Cool. For you as well, Rod? Rod, are you with us? Yeah, it seems to be working, right? Are you?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, I reloaded it. It looks like it's working now.
Cool. Yeah, I changed it just a half an hour ago, so it may be stuck on something else. Yeah, so we have some lines and veils and ask first. Yeah, I'll give you a couple of minutes to fill out those. As I wrote in the mail, we'll spend a little bit of time first just talking talking things through, and then we'll do the season or the show setup, and then we'll get into play. And I'd like to reserve the last 30 minutes for discussion. At the end, we'll take breaks on the hour. Yeah, I think that's about it. Do you feel happy about the lines and veils? Anything?
Yeah,
we have, yeah, cool. So we have lines on harm to animals, sexual assault, violence, or coercion, and domestic violence. We have veils on sexual content, slavery, and eye injuries. And we have ask first on harm to children, torture by PCs, and suicide. So we'll try to keep those in mind. Yeah, before we get into actually starting the game, we should talk a little bit about the X-Men. So we have just like some understanding of where we're all coming from. Rod, do you want to start?
Yeah, I did have one question first, which is,
Yeah, absolutely.
are we doing specifically MCU, or is this our own creation?
That's we can talk about that. That's not. I don't have an opinion on which way we're going.
Okay. So remind me the question again. Did you just want my
Yeah,
thoughts
just
on X-Men in general?
just your thoughts on the X-Men. What's your relationship to the X-Men? Did you read the comics? Did you watch the movies?
Yeah. I've seen all the movies. I was a fan of the original X-Men. When I saw the new X-Men, I actually thought they were a little scary, and I didn't, as a child, I didn't connect to that until I actually read, some stories about them, and I think it was just partly because of the artwork that I saw initially, that I got scared off. But yeah, I really connected with them in a way that I did not connect with the Fantastic Four or the Avengers or any other group, because I think they were those outcasts, and there was that prejudice against them that I really connected to, and they were just weird and fun. So I'm a big fan of theirs.
Cool. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah. Same-ish. Yeah, I read the comics in like the 80s and 90s. Kind of fell off after like mid-90s, I guess. I guess a little bit before the movies started coming out. I've seen all the movies, most of them at least. Yeah, I think there's a TV show that I haven't seen what focuses on the teenage ones, or maybe some New Mutant stuff. But yeah, love the X-Men as a kid. Really, like, I think the graphic novels, God Loves, Man Kills thing was like my first like, oh dang, comic books are good. Like as an adult-ish teenager, I don't know. And really kind of like brought into focus the like, oh, like these comics have been dealing with issues the entire time, and it's just kind of been hidden by this veneer of adventure and action and stuff. Thin veneer. It's like too young to see it, I guess, originally. But yeah, same reason. Yeah, weirdos, outcasts, and kind of like dealing with those issues.
Yeah. I started with the comics when they were translated into Swedish, and this is, I think, mid 80s. I think I was about 12, which is like the perfect age to read X-Men. And this was the new X-Men with Nightcrawler and Colossus and all of them. And I was a big fan. I read a lot of comics as a kid, and it used to be like Spider-Man and Fantastic Four were big for me, and Superman. But the X-Men, they grabbed me in a different way. And I think, they were weird. I'm not sure how much the outcast thing was the thing that grabbed me, but it was not a negative. That's for sure. I watched some of the movies. I really liked the first two, and then it's been just like, whatever. Not a huge fan. I haven't watched the TV shows other than the reboot sequel thing they did of X-Men '97. I haven't watched all of that either, but that's it's really good. And I've read occasional comics since the ones I read as a kid, but it's been very like I've picked some things here and there. I read Exiles, which is when they're a group they're traveling to different timelines and doing weird missions, and some other things here and there. So I followed some of the X stuff at a distance. Like I hear about Apocalypse and all of that, but I haven't read those comics. There's a lot of characters I only know because I play Marvel Puzzle Quest and Marvel Champions, and they show up there. So, here's a good character. Okay, I don't know about them, but apparently they're an X-Men. So, so that's my general background. I don't have a deep knowledge of all the characters. I don't think I've ever read anything with Psylocke, for example. Even though she's one of the big popular characters now. And same with Jubilee. The only thing I've read with her is the recent thing that Gail Simone has done, where she shows up. That sort of thing. But yeah. Cool. So let's get into the actual game. So we're setting up. We have the job now of creating a live-action X-Men show, and those are the only parameters we have. It's going to be live action. It's going to be X-Men, but we get to decide. Other than that, what we want to make of it. So we can do a complete reboot, like separate from anything. Sequel. It can be set in the MCU if we want to do that. It can be whatever we like. Any characters we want, whatever time period, and mix and match in any way we like. So I'll start with you this time, Mark. What are your ideas? What do you want to do? What do you definitely not want to do?
I think like connection wise, I like the way that like the original Netflix series kind of like acknowledged stuff that happened in the MCU but didn't interact with it at all. They're like, oh yeah, like the Hulk is a thing, but we're never going to talk about him or see him. But kind of like having that familiar soup to kind of swim in, that's fun. I don't need to engage fully with any of the movie stuff, like the MCU movie stuff. That's totally fine by me. Like tone wise and theme wise, like I'm not 100% sure yet. It might be fun to kind of like think about like what kind of shows and stuff we find compelling now, and then be like that, but X-Men, or like to inform that. I don't have very strong opinions about that right now. I've been watching. What have I been watching? I've been watching Lazarus, which is the new thing from the Cowboy Bebop folks. Severance. I've been watching a lot of stuff recently. But yeah. I think like having it like hit, like pick a theme or issue or something and probably hit that strong instead of just being like general action, adventure stuff.
Cool. How about you, Rod?
I think I'm not sure. I do want like action. I'd like both, lighter and darker moments. Maybe a little bit more balanced towards the darker, or at least have that, always in the background. Yeah, and I think, just giving each character their own arc and place would be fun. As far as the MCU, I don't have an opinion either way. It might, it would be more limiting if we tried to conform to the current universe. So I like your idea of just, maybe it's in the background and we can interact with it as needed or make references as needed. But yeah.
Yeah. For me, I also don't want to make it like have a lot of interaction with the MCU. I'd be perfectly happy to set it just ignore the MCU completely and make it its own thing. I feel like that might make it easier to bring in, like, if you want to bring in Magneto, it's going to be weird if there's like nobody else trying to do anything about him. So I think, but you can also do that sort of thing there. Yeah, it's technically set in the MCU. We're just ignoring everything else that's going on. That might be good, actually, just to avoid cross-casting actors, even if they're doing that themselves now. So yeah, maybe we don't specify that at the start. It could be like we can fill that out,
right?
Since no one has a strong opinion on that, we can let that. Yeah, I think one thing. Rod, you wanted some action adventure, if I understood you correctly. One thing I was thinking of is, do we focus on being X-Men, or do we focus on the like Xavier school aspect of it? Is it like I don't want to say high school drama, but kind of, is it a high school show where we're also mutants and sometimes go out and fight big bads, or is it an action show where we also have like a home base that's kind of a school? And I don't have a strong opinion on either of those. I think both are interesting, but how do you feel about it?
I would definitely lean towards the latter of that, like having the school and students as available as a thing, but like being X-Men is fun.
Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Cool. And a bit of a darker tone was what Rod was asking for. Marc, you're nodding. So
yeah, aligned with that.
That sounds good to me. Are we thinking like we're going for still a PG-13 rating, or are we going like
not harder? For boys, but the side of the boys.
Cool. Yeah, so a bit harder than more an R than a PG-13.
Yeah. Like
cool.
A PG-16.
Yeah. So I'll note here. darker but with lighter moments for tone. That sounded roughly what we're doing. And we want some action adventure, so I assume we'll be fighting villains in some way as one of our types of conflict. And there will probably be some more types of conflict. I wanted to get into the casting thing. Do we want to cast actual real life actors, or do we want to just grab some interesting faces and use those, or neither? We could just leave the faces or the actors blank and just talk about the characters. But I think it's usually interesting to have a visual or a style for the person. I don't know. Anyone have an opinion on that?
I like using actors for like familiarity and reference, but not necessarily having to rely on them. Like if we can't think of an actor for a person, like that's okay. We just find a face. But for like, oh yeah, no, that guy is totally actor X. Then yeah.
And I usually lean towards preferring unknown actors, because if it's too famous an actor, it kind of overshadows sometimes the character. Like you think of them as the actor.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, it's either way. It's not a huge deal.
Mm-hmm. I tend to like stunt casting for like the guest stars. So because it gives you like a very clear image of what that person is like.
Yeah.
So if you use Ian McKellen for Magneto, then you know what he's going to be like. And if you instead use now I can't think of anyone else who would work for Magneto, but if you were to use to pick someone who would be terrible in the role, if you would pick David Duchovny to play Magneto, it would be a very, very different Magneto. But you would know what that Magneto would be like. So
Ben Stiller Magneto, yeah.
Cool. So we don't have a strict opinion here. We can use real actors, but we don't have to. So about themes and more types of conflict, is there anything there that anyone wants to add?
So kind of working backwards, like if we want to have superhero fights, right? We want to have the X-Men using their powers against people who aren't deserving of using it. Like they're not going to be fighting cops or the army or senators or normal mob of people or whatever. They're going to be fighting supervillains or some threat that requires the use of their powers. So that kind of implies that either those threats are the antagonistic force, or the whatever the antagonistic force is using those threats as a force. So like if there's a hate movement that is up against as the main antagonist, they have employed some sort of superpowered things to fight for them. Or if it's a natural disaster, is that just the things happening, or is there the Skrulls behind it or whatever? So that kind of like implies some scale, right?
Yeah. And I think that's more of a question for the season.
Yeah.
Like that's a types of conflict. So, but you touch on something important. Is like the human mutant relations. Is that that sounds like that's probably a theme we want to have.
Yeah.
So do we want that as a type of conflict, like conflicts between like is conflict between mutants and non-mutants, is that a thing that we want to have appear in the show, or is that something that the show focuses on? or is that just something that maybe occurs occasionally in the background, but it's not like a central thing?
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's such a part of the X-Men that I don't think we can put it aside.
Yeah, but having like
I mean, like one thing.
but the background radiation, like that's just like a thing that is real in the world.
Yeah.
But like maybe not focusing on like here's the group that wants to stop mutants. You know, that feel like that's been done a lot.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
one aspect that I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead.
One aspect I found intriguing is that they're heroes trying to help people who often hate them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's that. Exploring that that extra challenge that the Avengers usually don't have, or the FF don't usually have.
Right.
Yeah, that sounds like maybe we have a theme there, helping those who hate you, like that sort of thing, or doing good despite doing good without thanks, something like that.
Right.
Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you typing this on the Google Doc?
Yeah, I'm on the
just trying
main
Okay.
tab
Okay,
under
cool.
the series overview, the green bit there.
Cool.
So we can add to a bit more to this later if you want to, but I think I'd like at least one more theme and maybe and another type of conflict. So for types of conflict, do we want there to be like tension within the team? Like that's a typical X-Men thing.
Sure.
Like they're disagreeing about things. They have romantic tension and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
How do we want to frame that in some particular way? Is it like they have moral disagreements, or is it more focused on the like love triangles, or do we want both of those things?
Yeah, I think having I think that's essential not only to the X-Men but to like good fiction. Like our a theme, a well-addressed theme shouldn't be like here like you should help people without expecting thanks is a bad theme. Should we help people without expecting thanks? Like having a question is more important than having like this is what our team believes and so they're going to do this. It's like, oh, we have differing opinions in the team. Like that's going to help highlight different facets of the thematic questions.
Cool. So I'll put that as moral disagreements. Yeah. Themes. I think I want to put found family in there. It's that feels like a strong part of the X-Men.
Yeah.
Now most of them don't have like strong family bonds outside the X-Men, but some of them do. Like Kitty Pryde, she's at least early on, like she's very young. She still has connection to her parents, and some of them have like other bonds of that type, even if it's rarely focused on. But the found family aspect, I think, is important. They're not just a team who fight crime together like the Avengers do, or fight big threats. They're something different from that.
I think another, we do want superhero fights. I think one of the interesting things, especially with the X-Men, is although they have these superpowers, there are a lot of things that cannot be addressed by using power, and they have to find another way to do it.
Yeah.
Like you can blow things up with your mind, but that's not going to solve hunger or whatever.
Power don't solve everything. It could be a theme there. And we can make room for more here if we want. Let's see if I can do this on the fly without messing things up too badly. Yeah. We can come back to this later as well if we feel like, oh, I thought of something that's or if something appears when we start into going into the details. Maybe we discover something that we want to lift out and make a bigger theme of the whole show. Maybe we should settle on a title for the show. So is it just the X-Men, or is it something different? Do we want to like make a statement with the title?
Yeah. Well, one thing I really enjoyed about the new cartoon series until they undid it, but I think an interesting set of eras of X-Men is what happens when Xavier goes away or isn't there. Like who's in charge, how are things organized, like where do they get their funding from? Like, so I think that might be a fun thing to play with.
Yeah, absolutely.
The title can reflect that.
Yeah, I like that. Should we call it then X-Men after Xavier?
Yeah, something like that.
We can change that later if we. X-Men after Xavier. Cool. I think we have enough meat on the bones to get into play. So, do I have a volunteer to take the first turn?
So, season is one of the things we can do. Right. Okay. Good.
Yeah. I should actually order these differently here on the just to make that a bit more clear. This is not a priority order with how they're listed there, but it makes more sense if they're in the hierarchy. So yeah, you can do any of you can go for any of these. If you go for the season, you'll define some of the like overarching things. Like what we've talked about now, that's true for the whole show. Like in the show in general, if we were to do multiple seasons of this would still all be true. It would still be about Power Stone solve everything, and we have supervillain fights and that sort of thing. That's like the core concept of the show. But for the season, we can do like variants on that, and we can define like, oh yeah, this season the big bad is this person or this concept or that sort of thing. Or we don't have that, and we have like individual episodes that don't necessarily stick together that closely. But you can define things for the season, or you can just decide that, no, I'm going to define some things about the first episode or the last episode. This is like the climactic moment. You can start there if you want.
Yeah.
And you can go for, you can even go for just start out with a specific scene. I just know that in the first episode, I want to have this particular thing happen.
Right.
I want Logan to come back to Xavier's and after having been absent for a long time, or something like that, and then you can just go for that specific thing.
Are we saying that this is the first season of the series, or are we saying this is like we are okay? So so we have to worry about like introducing characters to.
Yeah, we can do that any way we like. Like I don't think we should feel like we have to structure this exactly like someone would make a real TV show, because we don't need to care about viewership and budgets and that sort of thing. But it can also be fun to work like within that structure. So I'm good either way. Yeah. Do any of you get started with? Because otherwise I will figure something out.
Do we want to say there's something like a funeral for Xavier or a scene like that?
Ooh.
Or
Oh yeah, well, okay.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
You have that idea, so you start. Do you think that's like the first episode, or is it just a scene in the first episode?
I think it's a scene, like maybe the opening scene.
Cool. So
Should I just
then
type
we go.
in?
Yeah. So we go to develop a scene. So this seems like doing the scene summary for the first scene of the first episode. So you can just type in what you think that scene. And I've limited us so far to 3 scenes per episode, and that's not intended as a hard limit. That's just like to have some sort of structure and to make the episodes have like beginning, middle, end.
Right.
But we don't need to feel. You shouldn't feel like, oh yeah, everything then has to take place within those 3 scenes. We can add scenes, and we can, like, if there are little bits that don't quite fit, we can just add them, and we shouldn't feel like this is like a screenwriting scene. It's more like a structural thing.
Beats. Yeah.
Cool. So you're writing the summary for the first scene, and then you can add a few details to that scene if you want to, like a particular sequence or shot or something like something that happens during that scene.
I think maybe Scott is doing a heartfelt eulogy when you hear the motorcycle interrupt as Logan enters very late.
Yeah, that's good. Oops, those. Sorry. Cool. Do you want to add something more there, or are you happy with that?
I'm happy with that, I guess, and I guess people can add more if they want to that scene.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole point. Like you've established some things here, but we'll continue to build on that and add more to the scene. You haven't finished it, but you've started it and put in some things there. Cool. I'll point to you then, Mark.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like which major adversary to focus on for the season. I'm trying not to repeat the things that I've already seen.
Yeah, I mean the easy ones are Magneto, someone running the Sentinels,
right?
Apocalypse.
Yeah, and I think I kind of like put something on the no list. I think I'd like to avoid like time travel and like outer space stuff. I think that's been done a lot and takes a lot of weight off of the personal stuff. Doesn't necessarily have to, but it can often. So like, I mean, Magneto is an obvious choice, although I am sympathetic. Sentinels are always good.
You can do the Brotherhood of Mutants without Magneto.
Right.
Like Xavier is gone, maybe Magneto isn't around either.
Right. Oh yeah. Maybe. Yeah. That's great. Maybe in, I think it's probably like a mid-season reveal, like episode 3. What actually happened, I think it's probably alluded to up to that point, and maybe it's like the second scene in season 2 is like a flashback to the the flashback to the final confrontation between Xavier and Magneto, and that kind of reveals, or at least teases, maybe it like doesn't fully nail down all the details of like why they're both gone.
Cool.
And I think the scene details, there's the like the main, not point of disagreement, like one of the stakes of that scene is, there are a large group of humans that are in danger, and Xavier's like, we have to do whatever we're doing and save them, and Magneto's like, fuck those guys. And that would imply that the thing that they're actually focused on is important enough. So it would be, maybe there is a natural or unnatural disaster that is threatening the mansion or the area, that whole like geographic area, I guess. I think an unnatural event would be good, not just like whatever. So like whoever the actual antagonist for the season is, like they weren't fully destroyed, and maybe they come back. So I think they are, of course, Xavier wins that conflict, but they both pay for that decision. Humans are. Yeah, so and maybe that that unnatural thing is a non-mutant superpowered person who was created or engineered, brought up by whoever is opposing the mutants that, in that timeline.
Cool.
Non-mutant superheroes. Do we want to make a new person, or do we want to find a good?
I think we can hold off on that. I think you've added plenty to this. So I'm going to take my turn now. I've added some of the characters now to the cast. I've just put them. I put Scott and Logan as main cast, and Professor Xavier and Magneto as supporting cast.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just guessing right now. Maybe that turns out not to be the case at all. So that's not me defining things. That's just so we remember that they're part of this. So I think I had an idea for another thing for this scene. I think since we're talking about something unnatural, I think Xavier is in Cerebro and he's astral projecting, because that's a thing he does sometimes, and that's like how he's fighting this threat. So I just want that shot of Xavier in Cerebro astral expecting to stop the threat. Yeah, and I want. So I think there's a shot of the mansion with. Trying to figure out how to manifest this threat. Is it like things starting to levitate? Is there like some dark force field, or what do we think would be interesting for to visualize the threat?
Yeah.
Or is it like something crashing down from the sky?
Maybe it is whatever is doing this is taking control of humans and using them as weapons.
Ooh.
Like that threatens the X-Men, but it also they can't just blow them away because they're innocent people.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the threat.
School is under attack by possessed humans. And Xavier is like fighting the possession, rather than the people who are possessed. Magneto figures like we could just kill these people. That will solve the problem. But Xavier doesn't want to do that. He wants to stop the actual threat, or the whatever force it is that's controlling them. But doing that overexerts him. So yeah, I think that's my bit there. So Rod, what do you want to do?
I know we started talking about the antagonist. Did we decide on that, or we're still throwing out ideas?
Nope.
No,
that's not.
I mean, would the Hellfire Club be an interesting? Because you could have Emma be the one possessing humans.
Yeah. The Hellfire Club is always good.
Cool.
So if they are the main antagonist, it sounds like we're talking about the season. So maybe that's. So you want to develop the season, so you can add some things there, and then it sounds like a seasonal plot arc or a core conflict is.
Can I twist that just a little bit?
Yeah.
To make it that someone who is not mutants, who is anti-mutant, is using the Hellfire Club to cause this attack. That makes sense. So it's not the Hellfire Club itself, but someone has
how
exactly. And maybe that's like a season reveal of like, oh, it's not the Hellfire Club attacking, it is someone who has infiltrated them or manipulated them, or
I mean, they are all, I would say all of them are pretty vulnerable to like bribery or extortion or that sort of thing. So it could be like, if Sebastian Shaw is leading the Hellfire Club, then maybe someone has their hooks in him. Or
like a great like last episode season teaser.
Yeah. But they would still be like the main antagonists for the season.
Yeah, big fan of the Hellfire Club.
So,
yeah, that's good. Yeah, you want to add something more to the season?
For the season, we have central themes, core character, conflict, recurring motif.
It doesn't have to be core character conflicts. It should just say core conflict there. And you can look at the season overview and just see whatever you feel like adding there. And title for the season, that's very optional. Like most shows don't have title seasons or season titles.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously the themes we defined for the show overall, those are still like, those are relevant either way. This could be like, if we have an additional theme for this particular season, or if you want to do like a twist or variation or more specific version of a theme from the show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll twist the powers don't solve everything to powers to solve everything. Insofar as the Hellfire Club uses their gifts to get anything they want.
So is that powers do solve everything if you're a bad guy? Is that sort of the theme?
I love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm good there, yeah.
Cool. Mark, back to you.
Yeah, I think I'd like to add plot arcs to the season overview to help like solidify some stuff. I think it's like the kind of like the A plot is uncovering and then fighting the threat, and then like almost like not even B plot, like A- plot is how does the school / the team run itself, or who runs it in the absence of Xavier. And then there's like I think those are the two. I mean, with 5 episodes, I think an A plot and B plot is the plot arcs are.
I'll offer something on that line of the leadership. And at one point, there was a question of whether Storm or Cyclops would be the leader in the comics.
Right.
So if you want that as a part of that conflict.
Yeah, I think we can. I think that feels like an episode thing. Probably it could be a core conflict for the whole season. Like Storm or Cyclops leading the. Do you want to add anything more to the season, Mark, or do you feel like
those are the big ones? And maybe adding a third perspective, like maybe Logan being like, "We don't need a leader. Like we, like we can figure it out without someone telling us what to do."
Yeah, that's good. Cool. I think it could be interesting to not have Jean in the picture, at least during the first season. Like she's absent just partly to remove the love triangle thing from what we have right now, and to remove a powerhouse, because that's also if she's Phoenix, then she's just trivializing a lot of stuff. And if she's not Phoenix, then she's just a lot less interesting as a character. Maybe that's simplifying things a bit, but that's how I generally feel about her. She's much more interesting with the Phoenix thing going on. So I'm going to add something about that. I think this is during Xavier's funeral. Think there's a sequence there where, when Logan arrives there, Storm, I think it's Storm and Logan discuss Jean's absence, and I don't think we find out what happened or anything like that. But it's just they have words about it. I think it's clear that Logan he left when Jean left, died or disappeared or whatever happened. That was like, then he was like, okay, I'm out. For connected to that. And Logan left when he did. That's a thing, and I think there has to be some sort of confrontation between Scott and Logan.
Sure.
Because they, at least to begin with, they should not get along, I feel like. I don't think this is a violent confrontation. It's just clear that they are on opposite sides of. I think it's I think Logan questions Scott's assumption that he'll take over leading the school. To Scott, it's obvious that he's going to step into Xavier's shoes. He's been like molded as the heir apparent and the team leader. And Logan says, "Screw that! You're not you're not fit to take over. You don't be the leader or that sort of thing."
Yeah, awesome.
Cool. I think that's enough for me. Rod, back to you. Oh, actually, we're past the hour. We should take a break.
Can I jump the line because I have a strong hit for one, but if not, that's cool.
Yeah, we'll take the break first. So let's. Is 5 minutes enough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Then we'll be back at 10 past, and I'll pause the recording, and I hope to remember to turn it back on. So see you in 5. So we're back, and it's Rod's turn. So pass it on to you. Oh, I should say, I added to developing the season, casting a main or recurring character, and to develop an episode, cast a guest character, because I realized that didn't really have those didn't really have a place, but now they do. So.
So I think
Can I make a suggestion for the first episode?
I have an idea for the second episode, but did you? Yeah, I mean.
Oh, go ahead. Yep.
I think it begins with the superstar performer Dazzler coming out as a mutant.
Yes. And Babe.
A mutant creating.
And if you're talking, you're muted.
Sorry, I probably muted more. Yeah, I think Dazzler is the only canonical Marvel character I've played in a game.
So, and I think the title is just Dazzler for the episode.
Yeah, that's good.
Oh, should we just name each of the episodes after a character?
Ooh. Maybe we don't need to nail that down, but I like the suggestion.
Yeah, and like, not even like this is about this character, but like Dazzler could mean both the character and like as a descriptor. Like this is like, oh, we're talking about the so something to keep in the back of mind. Interesting.
And I think I think the one of the themes is going to be, being in the mutant closet. Is it better to be out and proud, or do you have to hide because of safety and
right?
Yeah. Cool. So do you think, and you don't have to decide on this, but I want to ask the question, do you think Dazzler is a main character, or is she just a guest character for this episode? Or
I think she's a guest.
Cool.
Because I think maybe like, at least in this version of her, she's a performer. That's what she wants to do. She doesn't want to be a superhero. Yeah. Right. She's just, being herself is what she wants to be.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah. Do you want to add anything more there, or?
I think that's good.
I love it.
Cool. Mark.
Yeah. So timeline cleanup. We're having that flashback to the final confrontation between Xavier and Magneto with the people attacking. That's flashback in season 3. That means that threat was successfully dealt with.
Yeah.
Resulting in their deaths. But if the Hellfire Club's going to be the antagonist for this episode, that means they are still a threat. And so I think the surprise ending of the first episode is the Hellfire Club attacks the funeral.
Ooh.
And so like everyone thought like, okay, Xavier's dead, but he went out, and maybe that's like part of the speech, like Xavier and Magneto, like they're gone, but they saved everyone, and like then Sebastian Shaw and Emma Frost come in and start fucking shit up.
Yeah.
Like establish like, oh no, that threat's not gone. Like we still have to fight someone, but in a different way.
Yeah. So was Mastermind is the one who like takes over people, right?
Yeah.
It's an illusion. He's an illusionist.
Yeah. But he's the one who screws with Jean when
yes.
So was he like the big threat and they stopped him, or was it someone else?
I feel like it was.
Or was it Emma Frost?
So I think that the Hellfire Club are the pawns.
I was just thinking, because if they believed that they had dealt with the Hellfire Club when Xavier sacrificed himself, then it had to be the Hellfire Club they were fighting there. So
right.
It had to be like someone in the Hellfire Club, or them combining their powers somehow, maybe.
I'm mad that Grandmaster is taken already, because if someone is using like the Hellfire Club, who is named after chess pieces, that would be a fantastic main villain. I think, I mean, not to double dip, but I think Doom would be an amazing manipulator of them. But you can figure that out later. But yeah, Hellfire
Ooh,
Jack's funeral
that's
scene.
very tasty.
I think either
Well,
Scott is wrapping up the eulogy. Talking about how X sacrificed himself to stop the threat, and then that's when Frost attack Busting. And then there's a physical confrontation because they're like, there's a power vacuum, you're without a leadership, so we're gonna make some changes around here, right? And yeah, whether how that fight goes, we can figure out. I like that kind of.
mm-hmm.
Since we want some action and adventure in there, that's a fun action scene, I think. Going from that mood to like, oh shit, we gotta fight now.
Yeah, the reason I was asking was because this threat that Xavier dealt with, that has to be someone that's part of the Hellfire Club, or the Hellfire Club obviously being the ones who are doing that.
Right. So is there someone in the Hellfire Club that is psychic?
Emma
right?
Frost.
Emma Frost,
Emma Frost, yeah.
But you also want to keep her around because she's such a cool character.
Yeah, sure. I mean, she could. The plan could be stopped, but she can still be around. Or maybe she connect in that confrontation, and there's someone else. Is there a someone coming up after her who's
I don't know. I really only know them from the Dark Phoenix saga, and then it's just.
Yeah, I only know them from like 1990 comics.
I was thinking maybe because we have Emma Frost and we talked about Mastermind, maybe like Emma Frost using Mastermind's powers, like amplifying his powers, and like them in combination doing this thing with a mass possession. Like she's impelling people, and but not like directly controlling them, but then Mastermind's illusions makes them do the violence. So I'm going to put that in there. Possessed humans. I'll just continue on that. Controlled by Emma Frost's mental powers and Mastermind's illusions. So what else? Since I'm doing something with that scene, I figure I'll continue there. I could. Who would make for a good Emma Frost? Who's a good Ice Queen actress?
What's her name? Amelia Clark?
Who? What did you say?
Clark?
I'm not.
Amelia Clark. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Right, from Game of Thrones. Yes, that's right. That's where.
Amelia Clark. Yeah. She would be. She's definitely interesting. Yeah, we'll do that. She's been blonde. She can be blonde.
And Dark Horse for Sebastian Shaw, Jason Statham.
Ooh, yeah, that's perfect. He's that's great. Yeah, let's do both of those. I have a picture here of Amelia Clark. I'm going to. I'll add a couple of pictures there, so I can pass the turn on. I will. Let's see. We have, and I think they're like guest characters. They're appearing in, or actually, they will be in multiple episodes. I think they're supporting cast.
Yeah.
Emma Frost, Amelia Clark, and Jason Statham as Sebastian Shaw. I'll add pictures while Rod, you can take your turn.
I'll do scene 3 of the Dazzler episode. I think there's going to be a fight at a concert.
Mm.
Well,
Sounds reasonable.
Let's make it Madison Square Garden. Who is attacking?
Is it?
I'm guessing.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like anti-mutant forces.
Is it people starting shit in the crowd, or is it someone attacking from the outside?
I mean, I don't think it's like audience members. I mean, if it's happening inside, it could be like people pretending to be audience members. But yeah, I mean, was it Friends of Humanity or I forget what all the different anti-mutant groups. But let's call it the Friends of Humanity. And they have guns, and they're not just like they're not just like a gang or anything like that. They're actually organized, have weapons. And with the intent to kill Dazzler.
Cool. Do you want to add anything more there?
Yeah, we can say that they were prepared for the X-Men to show up. And they have things specifically for to neutralize this power or that. I'm not sure exactly what, but neutralize X-Men's powers. So and that kind of brings into the that kind of forces the question: is it too dangerous to be to reveal like you're a mutant?
Yeah.
I'm just not sure how how to answer that question. I think.
I mean, the point of having the themes and the conflicts, and now I'm talking more from a writing perspective, is to like, yeah, you have this conflict and you land on one side or the other, or the question is unresolved.
Yeah.
And different characters can take different positions there.
Yeah.
So it could be that Dazzler thinks that, yeah, this was still worth it, or she could think that I shouldn't have done this. This was a big mistake. And some other characters can have different positions there, and deciding who lands where can be an interesting thing.
Right. I mean, Yeah, you know what? I think it ends with after the fight, with Dazzler making a speech, and doubling down and saying she's not going anywhere. Um, and I want to say continuing the concert. I don't know if that's realistic or not, but throw that in. And yeah, I think I'll stop there.
Cool. Yeah. Mark.
Can I tag on something? Develop the scene. Tag on something at the beginning of that scene.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
I think instead of just like coming out and like attacking her, maybe they like infiltrate the I don't know the tech booth or the sound system. They amp up the speakers to a dangerous level, so she has to absorb the sound, and then like it's become like they kind of engineer a thing where like, oh, she kind of like overloads, and then they're
she's
like, oh,
dangerous.
yeah. OH.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah, like that. It's the old like mutants are dangerous, so we have to get them.
And I like that idea of, instead of like neutralizing the X-Men's powers, they make them out of control to show
Interesting.
how dangerous these X-Men are. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
How would you phrase that too?
That could be something we add to. No, sorry. Just continue.
Yeah, so I changed it to they were prepared for the X-Men to show up and had weapons to overcharge the X-Men's powers and make them uncontrollable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Someone disables Scott's visor, and yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Mark, you're up.
Yeah. So fight. So I think I feel like the middle of the last episode has to be the like what was not revealed in the flashback to kind of tie it back to something. I'm not exactly sure.
I mean, the last episode has to have a big fight with the Hellfire Club, right?
I feel like it goes like the middle is like revealing the thing that was left unseen or unsaid about the final confrontation, and then the end is the big fight with the Hellfire Club where they get him.
Or is that being revealed during the big fight?
Yeah, I'm not sure if they're the same thing. Maybe they're the same thing. Yeah, I like that. So, scene 3, final fight with the Hellfire Club. And then during the fight. Which was maybe Magneto sacrificing himself after Xavier gets overwhelmed or something. Show that like they're
both. Yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't just Xavier, and maybe they have believed that Magneto fled, or that he was acting in some other dishonorable manner. But no, actually, he also sacrificed himself.
Yeah. And is it just like, oh, like you killed my friend, or like, oh, Xavier had a point? Like, we're not. That's unclear whether Magneto's mind was changed, but the action was there.
Yeah.
And maybe that.
Tying back to doing good without thanks, like.
Maybe this is revealed by Emma in a psychic attack on someone.
Yeah.
I mean, probably fucking Scott.
We gotta set up an Emma Scott thing. So
driving him to so yeah, she's like taunting him with like, oh yeah, like not only did your teacher die, but Magneto also, both of them suck, and that gives him the strength to rally the team to take him out for good.
Cool.
Yeah, I like bringing that flashback into the fight. Good call.
Yeah. I'm going to add a needle drop to this when Dazzler continues the concert. I'm going to drop in "Don't Stop the Music." Because that works there, I think. At least the title is good, and that's good enough. And do I want to add anything more there? I'm going to figure out who's going to play Dazzler. Sorry?
Janelle Monáe.
I don't know who that is.
She was in the second. She was in Glass Onion.
Oh yeah.
She's a singer.
Yeah, maybe. I'll look around a bit. I'm not saying no, but I think I need to look at some options. But I'll figure that out. You can continue. So, Rod, you go.
So I know the Angel was part of the Hellfire Club, or rather, he belonged to the institution of the Hellfire Club. So I'm trying to think of how that might be brought in. Obviously, he didn't know they were a bunch of evil mutants. It was just something that, because he was a wealthy, he was part of a wealthy family, he automatically had membership in it. But I kind of like the idea of a I don't know if it would be Sebastian or Emma or both approaching him with an offer, kind of like tempting him, threatening. So maybe that would be in the let's see, that would be in the third episode, maybe a scene where episode 3. Maybe scene 1 for episode 3. Does that?
Yeah.
All right, so we have Warren Worthington. I think he was the third, right? Being what's a good setting for like a conversation? A civil conversation. A dinner party.
Someone's yacht.
Oh, yeah, like a like a uh, like a Fourth of July celebration at a yacht, maybe.
Mhm. Oh yeah,
And,
fireworks.
and then we could have at some point, angel flying through fireworks or something, um, just as a visual. Um, oops, where is it? Confronted. Has conversation with. I think. We'll make it Sebastian
Mhm.
Shaw. To join his cause. And that's going to be on a yacht. It'll be on Warren's yacht, of course. Warren's yacht during 4th of July. Fireworks show.
In Chesapeake Bay. Is that nearby or it is? I guess. Trying to remember geography.
Sure. Or the Hudson River?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Let's see details. We will have Angel flying. He needs a grand entrance to yacht as a grand entrance. Oh, that's a good question. Is he publicly known?
Mm.
I think that would be an interesting counterpoint to the Dazzlers, coming out.
Yeah,
Trying to yacht as a grand entrance.
or like that, like he's rich, so he can, like he has the privilege
Right.
about it without having to worry. Like that's a.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Even though she's famous, she can't get away with it because she's not like rich, right? Whereas
Right.
rich, you have that privilege, even if they're not famous.
Privilege.
So I went with Janelle Monáe for Dazzler, but I recast Emma Frost with Kristen Bell.
Oh yeah, fantastic.
Or Kirsten Bell is their name, right?
Yeah. Kristen Bell, yeah. Yeah, that's great.
It's Kristen Bell, yeah. Kirsten is someone else.
Oh wow. Cool.
Who voiced Anna in
Yeah,
Frozen?
and I don't know.
Who is
Oh,
kind
that's
of
right.
all comes around.
Yeah, and if anyone wants to add anything to that, if not, I'm done with it.
Cool. I think I've got an overall for episode 4. I think it is the Scott and Cyclops, Scott and Storm reach out to unaffiliated known mutants. Do that at least. To band together and overcome this new threat. Yeah. So Scott and Storm reach out to other mutants who are not affiliated with the X-Men to help with this threat. Now I'd like to bring in some folks from Alpha Flight, particularly North Star.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the if going with the like theme of hero name, also so like this is our sort of guiding thing, and so the theme is like what common thing guides us as so they're trying to find people who aren't affiliated and being like, this is the thing we all need to work together. Like we need to work towards human mutant harmony. Is human. And I guess that poses the question: is human mutant harmony in all our best interests?
Mm-hmm.
And kind of sidewaysing from that, I like that if episode 3 is titled Angel, like Sebastian Shaw is actually like the angel investor, almost trying to bring Worthington in. That's an interesting kind of twist on that. But yeah, I think that's what I got for episode 4. I'm not sure where North Star comes in, but I like that as a overall theme.
Cool. Ooh.
You muted.
Yeah, I'm going with the season finale title Storm.
Nice.
And I think this is like Storm and Scott. Seems where she should be Aurora, but and Scott actually Aurora, Scott, and Logan settle their differences about leadership, and have final question mark confrontation with Hellfire. And I think I think what they need to settle on is who leads the school and who leads the team. Like those are different roles.
Yeah.
And maybe there's something like, I'm trying to figure out, is it like, do they end up with Logan leading the team?
Yeah.
I think that works. And I think Aurora is better as the principal and like the face sort of thing. And then the question is, what does Scott do?
I mean, maybe he's the like ambassador. Maybe he's the human mutant ambassador.
Yeah, I was thinking that feels like something he's terrible at. So maybe the way around. Maybe he's like running the school and like the practical side.
He's like the administrator.
Yeah, he's the administrator, and Aurora is like the face.
Yeah, that's right. That's good.
Yeah, I'm going to put that in there in the. Logan leads the team, Scott leads the school, and Aurora is the figurehead. Sounds bad. Is the ambassador.
Yeah.
Because of those three, she's the one who can talk to people.
Yeah.
None of the others are good at that. Logan is great in the field. Scott is a brilliant tactician, but he's also the one who can like have the big picture that way. So I think I'll add some themes here. Leadership and responsibility feels like a theme. Responsibility. And I think, so we have well, the main plot thread here is they have. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. I think I'm not sure the plot thread conflicts thing is really helping a lot. But yeah, I'll stop it there. Yeah, Rod.
So, since North Star was brought in, I'll have scene 2 of episode 4 as Bobby, Iceman, coming out to or asking North Star for advice about coming out. And yeah, since one of the themes of the episode is mutants coming together, I think, you know, that shared bond. Maybe one of the one plot discussion, or one part of the conversation is that even in groups there are other smaller groups.
Yeah.
How would you write that?
Interesting. Yeah.
Subgroups.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, subgroups discriminated against.
Intersectionality.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah. Yeah, cool. Intersectionality. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, you know what? We can make this in a danger room scene.
Nice.
Yeah.
They're practicing, because I don't think we've seen that.
Love the danger.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think that's
Cool. Mark.
Let's see, what do we need here? So I went and marked our action scenes in the 4 episodes that we have them in.
Oh yeah, cool.
Would the danger room scene be an action scene, or would that? Because it feels like that's action without stakes.
Yeah.
I wonder if there's a. Yeah, I don't want to force an action scene just because it's not one there yet, but keep that in mind.
We can we can figure it out if we should force it. I mean, you always have like the bottle episode and whatever, so we can absolutely have an episode without an action scene, or maybe we find that there's something that fits.
Let's see. We have a funeral there. We have 5 Madison Square Garden. A lot of ground to cover. So many good things to choose from. I feel like episode 2 needs a scene that ties into the season arc. And maybe that's scene 1. That is the scene summary is, the X-Men cleaning up, and this is a So scene 1, episode 2 is like the X-Men cleaning up the mansion after the funeral / attack. And this is a chance just for all the characters to kind of talk to each other in a group setting and establish their viewpoints on things.
Yeah.
Right, like Logan might be like, "We got to go fucking hit them right now," and Scott's like, "Oh, we need to think about it," and yeah. Who else do we want in the main team besides Scott and Logan and Storm?
Two questions. One, do we need more people for like the main cast?
Right.
And two, I forget what number 2 was. I feel like, yeah, minimum those 3, but yeah, we should definitely have more. The question is, are they like the main cast and everyone else is supporting? Or do we have like others? We could have others who are still like important characters.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
It feels like this season is those 3.
They feel like a good tripod, like the Kirk, Spock, McCoy tripod of like kick ass stuff. Let's feel our feelings. Yeah, I like that. And then we can bring in whoever we need. And then probably should be some tie-in to the Dazzler stuff. I'm not sure what that is yet. So yeah, I think that's fine. That's what I'm saying. Like Jubilee wants to go to a concert.
yeah, absolutely. Cool. I'll start my turn because I figured out who I want to play Mastermind, and that's Willem Dafoe.
Yep.
Because he can be creepy.
Mm-hmm.
And whoops. Nope. What am I doing? Yeah. And Mastermind is a creep.
Yeah.
Cool. So where do I tie that into? I'm trying to stick somewhat to the thing here. So I'm casting him. That's for an episode, and that's either episode 3 or 5.
I mean, he kind of only shows up in the flashback, right? Because he's the one that was defeated.
Yeah. He's gone after that.
Yeah.
Dead or neutralized or something, but he's out of it. So I'm in episode 3, where we have the big flashback. I think I'll add something more there. So let's have an overview there. So Warren and Shaw have their conversation, and Shaw is trying to get Angel to join his cause, but what cause is that? What's his goal? I mean, we know that the Hellfire Club, or I think we decided that the Hellfire Club is being manipulated, maybe by Doom.
So it's like Doom. So Doom wants power. Maybe mutants are a threat to that power that he can't control. So he's like, make them fight. And so what is he telling Shaw that? I mean, maybe the objective is like the Hellfire Club to rein in the X-Men, or they need to like have better control over.
Yeah. Like so if basically Shaw is doing the hard sell on Angel, like join us, or because we have backing that you can stand up to. It doesn't matter if you're a billionaire.
Yeah,
but
and
if
that's
you join us, you can then you'll be safe. If you don't join us, then it's open season, and I've got a shotgun. So
yeah, and that's different from Magneto. Like Magneto wants mutants to dominate humans, whereas
Yeah.
wants to unite the mutants under some kind of control. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. I think we have that reveal there then.
And
so
the flashback where like he's the one telling Warren about the battle at the end. Like that's where the flashback.
Oh yeah. And I don't think Shaw or he. I'm going to say let's slip that his goal or that of his benefactor is to control all mutants, and Warren can join, or I've got a shotgun. And yes, the flashback to final confrontation between Xavier and Magneto as revealed by Shaw. Just add that. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Rod.
I don't know.
Do we want to take our break? Think about
Oh yeah, we're on the hour, so let's take a break until 10 past.
Cool.
So we have about 15 more minutes of playtime. Who took the last turn?
I think Rod is
I
up.
think it's my turn. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I think we need another storm scene, and what it will be is, oops, it's gonna be in the Angel episode. I don't know if it's gonna be the final scene, but there's a scene where they're flying and they're talking about the different ways they're flying. I mean, it's kind of woke in the sense that, you have a black woman and a privileged white, wealthy white man, talking about their differences. But it's told through that frame of, this is how I experience flying. Storm calls up the winds. She has to work with nature. But Angel, just the name Angel, puts him on a pedestal, and he has these magnificent white wings that are part of his body, while she has to kind of be aware and work with nature in order to fly, kind of along those lines. So let's see.
Yeah, for him it's something well, actually, since she's a mutant, she's also born with it, but it's something external. But for him, it's just part of his body.
Right.
About experience. And of course, they're talking while they're flying.
Yeah.
And let's say they're flying over New York City, because that would be cool. And of course, Angel had come to the X-Men. Maybe he's not, like an everyday member at this point, but he's come to them because Sebastian Shaw approached him, and he will be there for the final fight. So Angel will join. Oh, you know what I like? Maybe like he will pretend to join the to join
Oh,
Sebastian.
yeah.
Right.
Or is that something that's revealed in a flashback? Like we believe that he has joined them, and then
or
in
maybe
the
he just
final
reveals
episode we find out that
yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe that's making it a bit too convoluted.
X-Men convoluted.
Well, on the other hand, we're actually planning things out instead
I
of just
know.
building it up as we go along. So I think we're ahead.
I think a fun thing to drop in that conversation would be Angel saying something about how, like, although he's very different than Storm and the other X-Men, like they're all mutants underneath, and so they all need to kind of work together. I think maybe that sparks off the stuff in the 4th episode where they try and get everyone together.
Yeah. That's cool. And that's it for me, I think.
Cool, Mark.
I think I'm just gonna develop episode 1 a little bit. I think I'm gonna name it Gray. And themes are gonna be like dealing with the unknown. Things aren't black and white.
Yeah, that's good.
Dealing
with loss.
Oh, I assumed it was a play on Jean Grey.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so yeah. Loss.
Multiple meanings.
Yeah, and also like Black King, White Queen together. Maybe it's raining. So the sky is gray. Yeah, and then I think we know what the plot threads are there. The plot threads are everyone is mourning Charles. They are exciting. And cool. I think that's good enough.
Did we decide already what happened to Jean?
We did not. We just had Logan saying she's gone or left or missing, or I think we're leaving it vague on purpose.
I don't think we need to resolve that, but we can if we want to.
Yeah.
I'm going to do some casting, and I'm going to I guess I'm developing season because I want to cast some of our main characters.
Yeah.
We haven't done that. And I started thinking, who could possibly play Logan that isn't Hugh Jackman, because he's so very Hugh Jackman. Or Hugh Jackman is so very Logan at this point. But I figured out a couple of options that I think could work. One is Robert Pattinson.
Shit, yeah. That's perfect.
He can be scruffy, and he can be. I think he's definitely got the acting chops to pull it off. And the other, if we want someone older, and now I'm going mainly on looks, is Adam Copeland, Edge, the wrestler.
I don't know.
But I think Robert Pattinson is better, but I don't know. What do you think?
So, yeah. I love Robert Pattinson. Copeland definitely does have the look.
Maybe you need to age him up a bit depending on how you want to go, or you could say that the whole regeneration thing also keeps him young or something. Oops, I'm doing that wrong. And I was thinking about wrestlers, and then I figured that, again, just going by looks, for Aurora, you could go with Jade Cargill, because she looks like a superhero, and she's already got she goes with the white hair and all of that. So I don't think she has the acting chops, but we don't need to care about that. We can fix it in post. I have no idea for Scott, but let me. So I'm developing the season.
Adam Scott.
Adam Scott
from Parks and Rec and Severance.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's really good. Yeah, we'll do that. He can be all the things that Scott needs to be. Yeah, absolutely. I just need to find a picture where he looks where he's not smiling so much. Yeah, this is him looking depressed from Severance. Oops. Here we go. Yeah, that's great. I'm happy with that. On to you, Rod.
I put in a picture for Angel, Wyatt Nash, and for Bobby, who is Alex Pettyfor.
Cool.
Not, yeah. Let's see. Okay, where are we? All right. All right, where are we? We have episode 1. Episode 2 is Dazzler. Episode 3. Episode finale.
So how are we playing? Like in episode 1, the Hellfire Club attacks the funeral.
Mm-hmm.
So, but then Shaw is trying to recruit Angel after that. So I guess Angel isn't part of the X-Men at this point, right?
Right.
Because they're reaching out to other mutants. Yeah. That was the thing. Yeah, that's happening later. I think. Yeah, maybe that flows from Angel and Storm talking, and Storm realizes, there are a lot of other mutants that if we could and this is becoming a bigger confrontation between like Showa, who wants to control all the mutants, and we good guys who just wants to help everyone. Yeah, sorry, I jumped in there.
That's okay. Mark, I think you mentioned Jubilee, right?
Yeah.
So was it? Yeah, I mean, Jubilee obviously wants to go see Dazzler.
Yeah.
So I think there is a Jubilee Dazzler scene in second episode. And oh yeah, their powers kind of work nicely together, right?
Yeah.
But oh, you know what? We'll make it a Jubilee Dazzler and Scott scene where Jubilee also wants to come out publicly. And you have Dazzler encouraging her, and Scott saying, "Don't, it's too dangerous." Dazzler encourages her. It's too dangerous. And what's a good line? How can I save the world if I can't even be myself? And I assume that's Jubilee asking. Jubilationally. All right. That's all I got.
I'm going to do series develop, and I'm casting Professor X and Magneto. Ed Harris for Professor X, and Harvey Keitel for Magneto.
Ooh, that's great. I love those.
Harvey Keitel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, that's him.
Yeah. And we're pretty much at the half-hour mark here. So I think with all of our main cast and our important supporting cast casted, I think we'll wrap it up there.
Cool. That's some good stuff.
Feels like we have like most of the plot figured out.
Yeah. Just need to get
Cool.
into it. It's all good.
Yeah. This was super fun. Let's we can do some regular stars first, and then we'll go into like game feedback.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go first. This was super fun. If nothing else comes of this was a really fun evening. So I've enjoyed myself. I think we had very good complementary ideas. Appreciate the way we could work together, and it felt like we were on the same wavelength with everything. That was super fun. I'm not going to mention specific things because there are too many. But yeah, super fun. I'll stop gushing. Whoever wants to jump in next.
I think the combination is really great working together. I mean, first A-star for putting us together. This was super good time. But yeah, I think like I know that I often am just like plot. And so it was really nice to have like people are like, oh, what about doing character development or stuff like that. I really loved Rod's like let's do just a thing with Dazzler, or let's just do a thing with Angel, and throwing in like not primary stuff and giving it a lot of texture. That's really cool. Yeah, and I think like I think y'all know more than you think about X-Men, because at the beginning, like, oh yeah, we kind of know stuff, but they're like, what about this guy from the so good time all around. Too many specific things. Love the casting choices. I always forget about that too, and it's always good to be reminded. Yeah, all great.
Cool, thank you. Rod?
Yeah. This was a lot of fun. I really like this this use of Microscope on this. I did get a chance to read up a little bit on the game, and I think this works perfectly. There's a lot of stars. I mean, naming the episodes by character was awesome. Having each episode marked, and I love that we can collaborate in this piecemeal style, where in this episode, this part of the episode, this happens, and then we build up on that, as well as working on the overall arch. Just works really well, I think, because it's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle that we're putting together, and everyone has their own piece. Like the casting choices, that was very interesting seeing the choices that people see. It's that's awesome. And just just the ideas what people were putting forth, with the bad guys and character interactions, and character resolutions. It was it was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Cool, thank you. So I'll start with the questions that I had noted in the mail, and I wrote them down there because otherwise I would forget about them or feel like they weren't useful to how we actually played. But I'm going to start with those. And the first one, I guess this is mainly for Marc. Do you miss the standard Microscope turn structure?
No, not at all. I think I agree. Like I like talking through the scenes kind of like we did, and not necessarily acting out the scenes. I think that was not that we are rushing, but I think it is more efficient, I think, or more compact. Like we definitely get the idea of what's going on without having to do microscopes, like act up until point X, and then that's this like until the question is answered. And I think especially with our tone in this one of like we are asking questions. I think I don't miss that.
Yeah. Cool, thank you. And second question, like the medium specific items, like having, I guess this speaks mostly to like themes and plot arcs and having that sort of thing. Does that help, or is it a hindrance? Would it be better to just have the episodes? Is the question, I guess.
It helps me a lot. It's having structure is great for me.
Cool.
Same. Yeah, I think it adds like a whole new layer, and it helps guide the players.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, thank you. And then the terminology, and this is like, because I'm definitely not a screenwriter, never tried writing anything like that, but I listen to, like, Robin Laws talks a lot about like plot beats and terms, and I listen to a lot of podcasts and watch video essays about movies and that sort of thing, so you pick up a lot of these terms. And I'm never sure how useful the terms are. Like, I think most of these are common knowledge, but that's not necessarily the case. That's kind of my preamble to, like, is it useful to use these terms, or should it be more like RPG-ish terms?
No, we're fine like this. Words mean things, and I think using words that mean the things that we want to do is right.
Yeah. So I just pick up on a couple of things that I noticed we didn't do a lot of, and that's not on anyone. We didn't do a lot of the, like, specifying the conflicts and that sort of thing. We did it a little bit, but not a lot. On the other hand, we talked a lot about it, and we talked like about we had a heavy focus on like the plot beats, I think, of each scene, and that's not a criticism. That's just something I picked up on, and I found myself doing the same thing as well, like dealing more in the specifics than in the general, I think. Does that seem fair, or did you have a different experience?
Yeah, 100%. I think another thing that we didn't spend a lot of time in is like the visuals of like the specific, like scene looks like, or what this person looks like, or what the music is. I still really want to know what our theme song is.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I agree.
Cool.
Did you? I mean, if you wanted to add that role-playing element, more of a role-playing element, having us act out the scenes like in regular Microscope, that could be fun.
It could be. For me, that's like the thing that doesn't, or the main thing that doesn't work in Microscope, because I feel like you end up, or it's like this. It's different parts of the brain for me, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
With the general being, you're being very analytical and like trying to place things and thinking about it from a more abstract position, and then you're suddenly in real time trying to inhabit a character and play out a scene, and that's very different. And jumping between those, for me, it's very jarring. I have a very difficult time getting into a scene that quickly in that way, and have it be something that feels good and meaningful. I think that's, I don't like that part of Microscope for world building, I think is the thing.
Yeah, I could definitely see what you're saying. I mean, and I'll solution possibly is to have that world building part first, and then do an enactment.
Yeah, that's actually an interesting idea to then pick some scenes and play them out, or improvise some dialogue and that sort of thing, like feel out the scenes. That's definitely an interesting. I will make a note of that. I'll add the tab here so I can add some notes. Oops. Yeah. There's also the other thing in Microscope about the turn structure, where one person picks a theme of some kind and the other players like add something related to that theme, and it can be like a period of history, or it can be like something going through there. I've never felt like that helps very much, because it's so open that it's like, yeah, you can. The rest of Microscope structure is so open that it feels like it sticks out in a bit. I guess it helps with getting everyone onto dealing with the same thing, but here I feel like having the more, I guess, more rigid structure about what we're doing and where we're placing things.
Mhm.
So you don't need to have that thing. Maybe it also always makes people confused about whose turn it is.
Yeah.
I feel like because you have different people starting, and then you get like the big turn, and you want to do that an even number of. So it puts. Yeah, I feel like just taking turns for me that works better. Also, I really much more enjoy this talking things out and polling the table rather than one person just decides things. As long as everyone respects, like, yeah, you're making the decision, kind of like it's still like it should be meaningful that you're taking your turn and you're making things. But now I'm just talking about what I think. What do you think could work better? Are there things here that we could just cut out? Is there something missing?
Nothing immediately springs to mind. Is my own need for structure, but like having like I do the breaking out noting the action scenes, like maybe not defining what kinds of scenes there are, but like when you're defining the series overview. Oops. Oh, sorry. I need to take this really fast. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we kind of did it naturally, but when setting a scene, maybe the person has to describe the setting a little bit, or I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe have some elements that should go into the scene overview, the scene summary, like where is it, who's there, what's the general like overview of events. Yeah, that makes sense. I will note that as well.
And one thing Mark did that I kind of liked was highlighting the action scenes.
Yeah.
Just so that we're see where they are.
Yeah, I think that was a good thing. And I also the thing he started to say about like maybe defining specific types of scenes that could be interesting. Like since we said this was going to be we wanted some action and adventure, some fighting supervillains, which means that we should have a number of those scenes. That should be like a recurring thing. On the other hand, like there aren't, not sure how many types of scene you can have. You have like, well, you can go into that. That's Robin Law's things about like defining different plot beats and scenes that way, which I don't think is as relevant here because we're not actually creating something for someone else to consume.
Right.
But marking the action scenes was, I think that was a good idea, since those are like the big set piece things.
Right.
Yeah. So as someone who hasn't played Microscope before, did you feel like this was this interesting? Did you miss not actually playing a character, that sort of thing?
Yeah, I was fine with just with the world building and treating it as a world building game.
Mm-hmm.
And then just zooming in and zooming out of different parts of it. I think was a lot of fun. I get like I mean we started off with a very a very strong anchor by saying this is an X-Men story.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if it's just a writer's room where we don't know. I don't know if you want to add guidance to, I don't know, to what kind of story, what kind of series to make it, or maybe that's not necessary. I don't know.
I
Like
think that
Mhm.
I think that's either something you can just come up with at the table. You can just discuss what are we interested in, or you can do it like I did now, that I want to do this, but I have either a very general idea like this, just X-Men live action, or it could be much more specific. Like I want to do the Dark Phoenix saga as a TV show in 3 episodes, and like it's going to be animated or whatever. Like you can do. I think you can go either way. Either like the facilitator has a very specific idea, or they don't have an idea and you just come up with it at the table. I think it can work either way.
Yeah, that's true.
I just for this, I partly wanted to cut down on like the preamble discussion, I guess, because if everyone's going to come up with ideas, then that's going to be a while before we settle on something. And I wanted to do something that I knew I would enjoy, and something that wasn't just a rehash of something that already exists.
Right.
Right.
Cool. Anything else? I was looking at theme songs. The one I found, I don't think this is perfect, but I think it works, is All These Things That I've Done by The Killers.
Oh.
Because it has the ending, which is with all these things that I've done, and it's got the I've got soul, but I'm not a soldier.
Nice. Yeah.
It kind of fits with the themes we've been talking about.
That's cool.
You would have to remix it in some way and like shorten it for it to work like a theme song, but that's not our problem.
That was a really good time.
Yeah, I enjoyed this.
What's the name of it? All these things I've done.
Yeah, All These Things That I've Done.
Cool.
It's a song of in like 3 parts or something. Like it's anyway, unless you have something more to add, I'm happy with what I've got.
Yeah, thanks for putting this together. It was a super good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'd love to play this.
Enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'll definitely run this more.
I'd love to play this again.
Yeah, absolutely. I will definitely do this. I already want to do a Star Trek thing with it.
Dang, yeah.
Because that would be fun. But we'll leave that as the teaser at the end here. Say goodbye.
That'd be awesome.
Bye.
Bye.